Hey guys, this is TheRealQwade with another tournament battle video. This one is against illsavetheinternets, another Generation 3 team against my combination Sun Team, Fear Team, whatever you want to call it. When I saw this team, I was very scared. Basically, I was thinking about it. If you asked me, hey, if you're facing a Gen 3 team, what two Pokemon would you not want to see? And I would quickly say probably Latios and Flygon, and he's got both of them. So I was a little unnerved by that. He does have Dusclops and Sableye, both of which I handled quite nicely with my Ninetales Tentacruel combo in the previous match, so I'm not too worried about them. Breloom, hit or miss depending on what kind of set it is, but let's just get this one going. This is a really close one. We actually had a battle right before this, but got disconnected near the end of it, so it was really frustrating. So we actually have a pretty good idea of each other's teams at this point. So you'll see some switches and some predictions and stuff based on what we already know about each other's teams. So he goes with Latios, I go with Tentacruel. I immediately have to switch out because I risk getting one-shotted by Psyshock. Although I know that I won't get one-shotted from the previous match, he Psyshocked me. I actually survived it with Tentacruel, but I go for my Ninetales, who's bulkier / not weak to it, to come in and tank that and set up the Sun as well. So other than Dusclops and Sableye, Ninetales doesn't have much utility against the rest of his team, so I don't necessarily mind if I have to sacrifice it. So he goes for Surf, which is super effective, but thanks to the Sun it's really not. It's just standard effective, so the Psyshock is actually stronger. I wasn't sure what he was going to do. I went for a Flamethrower just to get some damage. Managed to land a Lucky Burn, which is really going to come into play later on. So, he doesn't have a way to stop the Sun, really, so Ninetales at this point has basically done her job. She doesn't really need to do anything else other than set up the arena for Victory Bell to come in later and clean things up. So, goes for the Psyshock. That'll finish off Victory Bell, no problem. I'm sorry, Ninetales, no problem. I'm thinking into the future a little bit. So I decide to bring in my Aerodactyl, because I know he's not choiced. Aerodactyl's going to outspeed him. In the previous match where we disconnected, I went for an Ice Fang right away and basically one-shotted his Latios. It did have some damage on it already, but I would have been able to knock it out at this low hit point. So I assumed he was going to switch, and I tried to get the rocks up, but he doesn't. And thanks to the, not that it would have mattered because I have a Sash, but thanks to the Sun, the super effective Surf is again not super effective. So I figured he was going to switch into Dusclops, but I went for an Ice Fang anyway, because I didn't want to risk not switching again and losing Aerodactyl on that. So Dusclops is going to tank this pretty good. But I don't want to lose my Aerodactyl this early because I know he's going to be in key if I need to use him to beat Latios. So I bring out my Tentacruel, I use the opportunity. I figured he's going to Will-O-Wisp, but Tentacruel doesn't really mind with the special attack and the tankiness. And again, Tentacruel doesn't have that much viability other than to set up the Toxic Spikes and basically start to wear down his team that way. So he brings back his Latios because this is a good matchup for him. Against Tentacruel, he knows he can basically destroy me at any point with the Psyshock, so I get the Toxic Spikes up. I figure I don't really have much choice. I don't want to sacrifice anybody else. Tentacruel has done what he needs to do. He doesn't have any real access to entry hazards that I'm terribly worried about, so I don't really need to spin them away. So I'll figure I'll just let Tentacruel go in and do his thing. But he actually stays in and recovers, which I did not expect. Plus, at this point, if you noticed, he has a Salac Berry, so his speed is now increased, and now my Aerodactyl probably will not outspeed him, so I kind of want Tentacruel to go down so I can maybe try, I don't know who I would, maybe Kangaskhan might have to come in a little earlier than I wanted it to, but you can see that, you can't really see it on this one, but he's going to go recover again, and on this Ice Beam, you'll see that his HP is gradually starting to get lower and lower. And it's going to get the point here after this Ice Beam, thanks to the burn that I landed earlier with the Flamethrower, which was very crucial, that he's really in the danger zone after the residual damage. So he's basically going to have to come at me, otherwise he's going to lose Latios over time. You know, if this keeps up, he'll eventually lose Latios either to a crit or to the additional percent or two I'm racking up each turn. So he basically has to go for a self-sacrifice here and trade knockouts to knock out my Tentacruel in addition to losing his Latios. Because if he doesn't knock out Tentacruel immediately, he'll lose his Latios anyway and won't have anything to show for it. So that's a good play there. But I know he's got a Swellow, and I anticipate a kind of setup for that. So I'm going to use this as my opportunity to bring out Victory Bell and start the madness. So even if he comes at me with Brave Bird, he's not burned at this point, so I don't think it'll one-shot me. So he does go for a Protect, which is exactly what I wanted because I'm using the Growth, and this is about to get really nasty here. Because Victory Bell right now is perfect status, he's at full health, she's going to start destroying whatever he's got. So there's the poison. I don't necessarily mind. Thanks to Chlorophyll, I'm going to outspeed it with incredible ease. Go for the Weather Ball, which is actually Victory Bell's strongest attack in the sun, thanks to the pseudo stab boost on it. So Swellow's gonna fall, one shot, no problem. Here comes Dusclops. I think I go for another Weather Ball here, but thanks to the rocks, you can see there's some damage. Now that he's poisoned, he's gonna be taking even more. So this is all basically set up and to get Victory Bell, make his sweep as easy as possible. Even though Dusclops is really tanky, I don't have anything super effective. But just the sheer power behind the Weather Ball and the Growth and the Life Orb, it all sort of adds up. So I take some damage from the Nightshade, which is unfortunate but unavoidable. Victory Bell's already going to be doing great damage. So you see that the Toxic basically finished, or the Poison basically finished him off just enough to do, what it needs to do. So he goes for his Sableye now, who's going to take, again, Rocks damage. He's going to get poisoned thanks to the Toxic Spikes. Go for another Weather Ball. As I mentioned, its strongest attack, and you'll see Sableye just melts underneath the power of it. I figured he was going for a Nightshade, or maybe a Foul Play or something. Will-O-Wisp might have been a better play, but I don't know. I don't think he expected to get one-shotted by it. So here comes Breloom. I know he's going to go for Mach Punch. I'm just thinking survive, survive. Victory Bell does resist it, so there might be a chance of survival. I don't know. I'd never ran the numbers or did anything like that. So survive, 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 survive. No! So unfortunately, I lose my Victory Bell, but he basically ran through 3 of his Pokemon with incredible ease, and he's down to his last 2. So I know Nidoking is going to resist Mach Punch as well. If he decides to Sword Stance or do something else, I'll just straight outspeed him and finish him off that way. But he goes for the Mach Punch. Nidoking resists it, so he doesn't really mind. Even though Flamethrower is more powerful in the sun, I opted to go to Ice Beam in the off chance he switched to his Flygon. It would have been better play, because Flygon would have melted under an Ice Beam. So now here's his last Pokemon, Flygon. I'm in fantastic shape. I decide to sacrifice Nidoking because I know I have the perfect counter to this Flygon, because I'm assuming, as with all Flygons, that he is Scarfed. And whatever attack he chose, it doesn't really matter. As long as it was offense, there's no way he's going to be able to stop the Wrath of Khan here. Kangaskhan comes in. He's going to be able to tank an Outrage, survive with a single hit point with the Focus Sash, and then, throw out the Endeavor. He actually ends his Outrage here a little early, which, if he had been some weird non-scarfed set, it might have caused me a lot of problems. So I really wanted it to be a Scarf set. So he's at 1 right now. I go for the Sucker Punch, try to finish the job, and there it is. So if he wasn't Scarfed, then Aerodactyl could have come in and cleaned him up with an Ice Fang. So at that point, once he was down to his last 2, it wasn't really anything he could do about it, thanks to the Fear Kangaskhan basically cleaning up the messes. So good game to Nets. That was really intense. The first one we had was also very competitive. Could have gone either way. One we disconnected. It was really unfortunate. I was really bummed, but glad we got another one in successfully. Look for another video coming up here shortly. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.